Hello, welcome to Eight Stories, the entertaining, uplifting, and informative podcast for people who are passionate about enriching the multifamily experience. I'm your host, Sharon Cauthen, and together, let's take an enlightening journey across the multifamily landscape, sharing innovative ideas and heartfelt stories from communities nationwide. Eight Stories is brought to you by Multifamily Media Network, delivering the latest news, ideas, and inspiration across the multifamily sector. Now, let's jump into today's stories. Hello, welcome back to Eight Stories, where we explore lessons from the business world and how they apply to multifamily and our personal lives. I'm Sharon Cauthen, I'm your host, and today we're going to discuss something deeply relevant: echo chambers. No, not just the places where sound bounces back, but the kind of echo chambers we all get trapped in today, socially, politically, and at work. Now, before you press stop, don't worry. This is not a political debate. Just hang in there. I promise it'll make sense for all of us in the end. This episode was inspired by a fascinating piece on echo chambers, both literal and metaphorical. Fun fact, there's a mausoleum in Scotland. That's not the fun part. The mausoleum's not the fun part. This mausoleum in Scotland is called the Hamilton, and it once held the record for the longest echo in a man-made structure. So when you slammed the door, it reverberated for 15 seconds. That's a really long time for sound to bounce around. And they held this record for a long time, but in 2014, there was another place in the Scottish Highlands, the Inchindown oil storage tanks, to be precise. An official fired a pistol blank in one of the oil storage tanks that I am going to go on a limb and say that I hope it was empty, made the sound reverberated for 112 seconds. So just shy of 2 minutes of the sound of that gunshot in your ears. I can't imagine. But anyway, we've gotten off topic. Hats off to the Scots and their excellent echoing abilities there. And we'll move on to sort of modern day echo chambers, especially online, because a modern day echo chamber is when we get lost online in a world that only feeds us back what we already believe. So here's the thing. Those echo chambers can feel like they last longer and louder than even the gunshot in Inchintown. It's November of 2024, and yesterday we held a presidential election in the U.S., a showdown between two radically opposed candidates. And today, half the country is celebrating, and the other half is heartbroken. These aren't just statistics. They represent our neighbors, our friends, our coworkers. Do you remember when as kids we'd have to high five and say good game no matter who won? A fundamental lesson in good sportsmanship. Maybe we could all use a little more of that these days. The contemporary term echo chambers refers to environments, especially online, where you're exposed to ideas that only match your own. Google any controversial topic, religion, politics, climate change, and the algorithm will surround you with people who think just like you. And it feels good, right? It's reassuring, comforting. But the more we hear the same things, the more convinced we become that we are right. Duh. And everyone else is wrong. In the current political landscape, this is everywhere. The left and right are increasingly divided, and conversations have turned into shouting matches. The more we listen only to voices that reinforce our views, the less likely we are to engage meaningfully with others who disagree. But what about at work? Echo chambers exist there too. If you're a manager or business leader, it's easy to hire and promote people who share your worldview. It's natural, but there's the challenge. When we surround ourselves with people who think just like us, we miss out on diverse perspectives. And diversity of thought is what drives innovation and growth. Especially as companies work to become more inclusive, we need to ask ourselves, are we hiring people because they align with our beliefs? Or are we seeking out those who bring fresh, challenging perspectives? Because echo chambers, whether in business or politics, lead to stagnation. So how do we break free? The answer is curiosity. Genuine curiosity can unlock creativity, empathy, and even reduce conflict. Mike Brewer and I once collaborated on a blog post about this, and we found that when you approach a conversation with the desire to learn instead of just proving your point, the results can be transformative. Imagine how that could change your workplace, your relationships, or even a political debate. Curiosity is also what's missing in today's public discourse. We're so focused on proving we're right that we forget to listen to others. And listening, really listening, is a powerful tool. As Bryant McGill said, one of the most sincere forms of respect is actually listening to what another has to say. In the workplace, active listening can transform how employees see their role in the company. I'm going to say that again. Active listening can transform the way your employees see their role in the company. That kind of buy-in is hard to buy, but it's easily won through actively listening. It builds trust. It helps leaders spot their blind spots that may come from their own biases. But to do this, we need to be okay with the discomfort that comes from challenging our views. That's how growth happens. In business, it's how innovation happens. And in politics, it's how progress happens. So as we navigate these divisive times, let's remember healing begins with curiosity and listening. Echo chambers might be comfortable, but they limit our ability to grow, learn, and innovate. I'll leave you with one more quote from Bryant McGill. Curiosity is one of the great secrets of happiness. If we approach life and work, and even politics, with curiosity, we just might find ourselves in a better place. Thank you for tuning in to 8 Stories. If this episode resonated with you, don't forget to subscribe and please leave us a review. Stay curious, be kind, and listen well. And I'll see you next time on another episode of 8 Stories. Thank you for tuning in to 8 Stories. If you enjoyed today's episode, please like, subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your network. And don't forget, this podcast is proudly brought to you by the Multifamily Media Network, your trusted source for stories, trends, and insights in multifamily living.